Hey everyone, Jay Mamie here. Hope all is well as you are hearing this recording. I wanted to take a few minutes here and share with you some thoughts that I felt were very important and impactful, and something you can add to your library for growth and personal development, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your other endeavors or in life in general. I know that many of the topics that I discuss can be applied to just about anything in life, really. The purpose is to provide topics of training that can be applied to your business. And by the way, it's regardless of whatever business that you're in. Some of these disciplines are applicable and appropriate for any business, really. But even though that's the intent, they do provide a way for you to look outside of a business arena and take these little audio, insightful opinions, I guess I can say that, and apply them to something else, or share them with someone who might also be in need of hearing this. You know, sometimes it's not what you hear that impacts you, but it's what others hear through you or shared by you that impacts them. I believe if you're a person that is open to the reality of being a conduit of good service and a conduit of information that could benefit someone else, not just yourself, and if you embrace that authority to be an ambassador of goodwill and good information, then somewhere along the line, someone else may benefit from this audio or any of the other ones that I've recorded. So keep that in mind as you hear something. If it helps you, it probably will help someone else as well. So feel free to share these on Facebook or what have you with your colleagues, your teammates, your friends, your family, because again, you never know who has a need to hear this kind of message. But as I was thinking about recording this one, it really was founded on on an experience I had a few days ago that I thought could be a great lesson and that many could benefit from. I tend to be a bit of a health nut and a health freak, and I've been in that industry, in that field in the past, and you know, it's just part of who I am. I like to be healthy, and I like to eat healthy, and I'm always mindful of those, and I can't help myself. I'm always mindful of what others are eating. Now, if you're in fitness or if you're a healthy eater, you know what I'm talking about. You look at what other people eat when you go out to eat, and you can't help but watch what comes on the plate when someone else is served, right? And you're like, oh, how can I eat that stuff, right? But that's just the way we're wired, and that's just the way that we process stuff. And by the way, that other person probably looks at the way we eat, and they probably think the same thing. Hey, how could that guy eat that stuff? Well, how come he doesn't live life a little bit? And you know, why the plate full of boring food? And I can imagine they think the same thing. But I was having lunch with my son. We were at a great event in New Jersey, and there was all sorts of stuff happening. And we grabbed a little bit of a time to eat. And there at the table, there were two women. They both sat at the same time. They both were about the same age. They both had kids with them. Both of them were moms. And one sat down with a salad. Now, it was at one of these events where you really just have to grab what you can grab. It was like a kid event. And so she had a salad. And the other woman had the fried dough with the powder on top. They're not Zeppelis, but they're fried dough. And I thought to myself, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Two people of the same ilk, just about, at the same time, lunchtime, in the same place where they can buy food. In other words, there was only one vending spot in a very captive type of environment. So you really only had one choice, that one vending spot. So you have these two ladies. One makes a choice for salad, and the other one makes a choice for fried dough with sugar on top, tons of sugar on top. And I thought to myself, how interesting is that? Two people, same scenario, same situation, same environment, they make very different choices. It couldn't be, the choices couldn't have been any starker than that. And it reminded me of how easy it is to make the wrong choice. Now, I'm not saying the lady who bought the frittata, the fried dough, made the wrong choice, but clearly salad over fried dough with lots of sugar. I mean, you don't have to be a health guru or a doctor to realize, hey, the salad might have been the better choice. But isn't it interesting that given the same scenario, one made a choice that was going to better them in terms of their health, and the other one made a conscious choice to do something, having the ability to choose something better, chose something that at that person's age and life experience, they would know fried dough, deep fried dough with sugar on top, lots of sugar on top, probably wouldn't be the best thing to put in your body. But she made that choice. And I thought to myself, isn't that interesting how people have the opportunity to make good choices? They know what the good choice is, but they oftentimes don't. Now, I'm sure that the fried dough is much tastier. It's pleasant to the palate than a dry, leafy salad, I'm sure. So the easier choice is to go with the sweet stuff than the boring stuff. But in the long run, that easier choice will cost. And that's the point of my message, guys. The easier choice, and there's always an easier choice, isn't there? There's always an easier choice, a simpler choice, a more pleasing choice than one that might cause a little bit of pain, or that might not be as tasty, that would be a little bit boring. Isn't there always a choice for that? Let me give you another example of that. Isn't it easier just to stay in bed in the morning and not get up when you know you should get up earlier to either get cracking on your day with work and prospecting and doing what you do in your business, or getting up to go work out or go for a walk, or get up to read and meditate and pray? Or isn't it easier not to do that? See, what's easy to do, it's also easy not to do. But that's where choice comes in. You can choose to do the thing that's easy not to do, or you could choose to do the thing that is easy to do. Maybe not easy to do, but is what you should do. Getting up in the morning a half hour early to work out when you can stay in bed. You know what? Staying in bed is easier to do. Getting up is not. But what's the better choice? The better choice is get your ass out of bed and go work out. Isn't that right? Because in the long run, the decision you make today of what to do that's easier will cause you to make harder decisions in the future that won't be as easy. Does that make sense? So I want to encourage you, as you're listening to this audio, begin to determine what's the easy thing to do, what's the not easy thing to do, and recognize that oftentimes the decision that is easy not to do is the one that more often than not and probably will come with a higher price to pay. The decision that is not easy to make, the decision that is not easy to make, is the one that'll have long-lasting benefits far beyond anything you and I could ever imagine. And they won't show themselves right away, though. That's the catch. The decisions that are not easy to make, but in the long run are beneficial, will not manifest themselves. In other words, the fruit of that decision will not manifest itself, oftentimes, not for a while. That's why it's harder to make, or that's why it's easier to make the bad choice. It's easier to make the bad choice because sleeping in later, that's immediate manifestation of that decision. You get to sleep more, right? Having fried dough, it's easier to do because you have the pleasure of the result immediately. The salad, probably not. So let me encourage you to understand. Tough choices, you're always going to have. Choices, you're always going to have. Decisions, you're always going to have. But what decision you decide, it's either going to be based on something you feel is easier to do, or something that you feel is harder to do, so you don't do it. Each one will come with a price to pay at some point in the future. Each one has an inevitable price to pay in the future. I encourage you to make choices, make decisions, choose things that, although they may not be easy now, will have a much greater end result some point down the road. Do the thing that you do not want to do now, so that way you can do the things that you want to do for as long as you want to do them. Guys, I encourage you with that point. Hope this has been helpful. Once again, please share it out. Share it with those, because you never know who needs to hear this message right now. Speak to you soon, guys.